up to. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Thunder and Lightning Gaming. I'm Thunder.
And I'm Lightning, and boy howdy, are we lucky to be here. Yes, his name is Icy.
What you were just listening to was the soundtrack to Casino Kid, which came out today, January 6th, on the Nintendo Entertainment System 34 years ago.
Wow.
And I just wanted to say briefly, because I thought this was interesting, there's a game on here that came out 43 years ago on the Apple II called B-1 Nuclear Bomber, and I was like, that's crazy. That's so long ago.
Yeah.
Video games are so old.
It doesn't have a soundtrack.
It's a completely silent game,
Yeah,
as all video games were back then. Might be. But it was a...
You said 40, and I was like, no, we're not that. We're not there yet.
It was an interesting Google search, I'll tell you that much. Hello, fellow gamers. Hello. Welcome on in.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We're talking. We're starting with video game news.
Yes.
We're gonna start with what we've been doing in video games, and you know what? We've never quite said this, but if you want to tell us what you've got going on in video games, drop it in the chat. We'd love to hear what everybody's playing, what everybody's doing. But let's start with try to be creative. We're trying. We're always trying. I don't know if that was constructive feedback for us.
No, I think what we're missing is an ing. I think he was saying that with his hello, he was trying to be creative.
Oh.
But it does
That
look
makes
like a fucking come on,
Like
guys.
let's do a little better this week. We're trying. We're working on it.
Come on, guys. The same intro each week. Yes. No. We're good. You're good. I figured it out. I've known you long enough.
No, that you nailed it. You nailed it. So Thunder, tell us what you got going on with video games this week.
Okay, so I'm gonna be real. Don't suck. Yes, I'll try not to. It's the beginning of the year. But more importantly, the end of the last year. There's not much news, so I have a couple things to talk about. For my week. So first of all,
I do too.
So first of all, I got a bunch of gift cards for Christmas. And I wanted to show my haul, my GameStop haul.
Yeah.
So I got where am I? I got JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R.
Nice.
Which is a clunky name. An even clunkier name, in my opinion, is Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, which is, I've been told, basically just, it's a remake of Final Fantasy 1, but it's a Dark Souls game, I guess.
Okay.
And then I got Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7 Reunion, because they refused to name games, give games normal names at Square Enix. And then I also got a $30 PlayStation points,
nice,
or whatever you want to call it, fake cash that I'm going to use to download Bright Memory Infinite, which is a experimental indie hack and slash first person shooter that I've had my eye on for a bit.
Cool. We got Garth Vader. Thank you so much. They say you're doing great.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We're trying not to suck. That's our current.
That's the current goal.
Do.
Yeah, we should put that on the screen somewhere. Current objective.
Yeah.
Trying not to suck. My dad says I'm playing Rise of the Tomb Raider for PS4, introducing my mom to Lara Croft. Yeah, my dad and his mom have been playing video games lately.
That's really cool.
Yeah, they just finished up Assassin's Creed Origins, and now they're doing Rise of the Tomb Raider, which I believe is the third in the reboot series.
Again, as we're going through our week here, if anybody wants to drop in what they're doing with video games this week, let us know. We'd love to hear what everybody's playing.
Yeah, totally. So I the second, got it. The second Tomb Raider game. I finished God of War Ragnarok.
Nice.
I don't want to
thoughts.
Yes, I will.
Right.
I will give my thoughts for sure. I don't want to talk about it too much because I have another game I want to talk about. But I do want to give my thoughts on God of War Ragnarok. I would like to give a definitive answer to the question, which one is better, the God of War from 2018 or God of War Ragnarok. And having just played both of them, I think I still like, they're both exceptional games. But I still think I like the original a little better.
Okay.
It's, the new one is a bit shorter. They've streamlined a few things, and I kind of wish they hadn't. So, for example, like, combat is exceptional. Combat's way better in the new game, because it just feels like the natural evolution of the combat from the first game.
Okay, sure.
Maybe there's a few, like, too many buttons to press all at once if you're trying to like do some of the end game stuff. But the armor so the highest level you can get in God of War is 9, which is not a high number.
Not huge.
It's really difficult to get to level 9 in the first God of War game. Take it over to this game. If you have everything, like every piece of armor, every item, every weapon, every like accessory, if you have them all upgraded to level 9, then you'll be level 9. So they kind of like uniformed it.
Okay.
Because that's not really the case with the last one. If you have a whole set of everything level 9, you might need to put in a little more work to actually get Kratos himself to level 9.
Gotcha.
They also, like, I don't know if it's like the difficulty that I played on, because I'm pretty sure I played on normal, but like I finished that game with a ton of leftover resources. I finished that game with 1,580,000 hack silver, which is probably like 2 or maybe even 3 times the amount that I collected in total in the last game. And I just was like swimming in experience points that I had nothing to do with, because everything was fully leveled up. So they really want you, it seems like they really want you, at least in the normal mode, to like have everything for you. This game had 2 super hard secret final bosses, and they were too hard in my opinion.
Okay.
Each of them took me quite a few hours. My hands really hurt at the end of them. And you do need to defeat them in order to platinum the game.
Okay.
So they're, as far as like being a completionist is concerned, they are required. So they were just a little too hard, especially because if you're anything like me, you get to the point in games like this where like those are the only 2 things left for you to do.
Yeah. So you gotta buckle down and grind on them.
Yeah, it honestly reminded me of Elden Ring or Dark Souls or what have you, where it's like, this happens more often in Dark Souls than it does in Elden Ring, because Dark Souls isn't an open world game. But a lot of the time in Dark Souls, you'll get to the end and you're like, I'm really stuck on this boss. Let me go down the left path I was trying earlier, and then I'm like, oh, now I'm stuck over here. And then eventually it's like, well, the only thing to do in the game is try one of the 5 bosses I'm stuck on. So I guess I'll just hunker down and try to defeat one of them. But they were really difficult. Maybe I suck, but I thought they were really difficult, and I thought it was interesting.
I know the
feeling. They give you really cool. This is something that a lot of video games have an issue with. And New Game Plus would fix this, but it doesn't have a New Game Plus, as far as I can tell. But both of those fights give you like a new move, like a really cool new move that you're not going to use because the game's over now.
That's stupid. That's stupid. Let's look over here. No, sorry.
My video game experience in the past week has just been watching videos about Elden Ring lore. I feel that.
Welcome to the stream, Drizzle. We've got some thank yous for you coming up in a little bit.
Tell me about it. And then my dad is bringing up what I was just about to bring up, that God of War Ragnarok is my 18th platinum trophy on PlayStation.
Nice.
So,
well, your dad's giving you a little shout out there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I've already mapped out my next 3. I'm going to do Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, because I said that I would go back and platinum them after we play them on the channel. Then I'm going to go finish up Elden Ring. The only achievements I have left are the 2 more endings, so I just have to beat the game twice real quick. That shouldn't be too hard. And then I'm going to go back to Spider-Man. I do have the platinum in Spider-Man, but it's a platinum trophy with a 98% next to it. Because there's 2 trophies from the DLC. One of them is beat the game on New Game Plus, and one of them was beat the game on the hardest difficulty.
Oh, okay.
And my plan was always to do those in one run.
Sure.
Which might be, more difficult than one would think. But
you could do some of that on the channel if you wanted.
Like, what do you mean?
I think people might be interested in seeing you try to platinum some games.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yes, so speaking of Drizzle.
Yes.
Drizzle basically texted me and was like, oh, I sent you a Christmas present. It should arrive today.
Same.
And then, well, bring the mic with me. And then this fucker,
this piece of shit,
this absolute shitlord sends me 2 Pokemon games. It's a lot of Pokemon games.
But it's the right amount of Pokemon.
Oh yeah. So these are the 2 that I was missing. And I've been playing this one a lot for the past 2-3 days. And it's really fun, and I really like it. I don't know if you know anything about this one.
Not really.
It's like entirely different. It's okay.
Okay.
So every time someone brings this game up to me, I say, "Oh yeah, the one that's basically Pokemon, but it's like Monster Hunter." And every single person goes, "Sort of, not really. It's 100,000% just Pokemon, but it's Monster Hunter." I don't know what those people were like so wishy-washy about. That's exactly what it is. But yeah, it's way different. Obviously, that was the point.
The Monster Hunter.
No, it's way different from like classic Pokemon games. I don't know how different it is from this one because I've never played this one.
Sure.
This one came out after this one, of course. But this one is like, this one is basically like, so it's set up like Monster Hunter. So you have like an open world field, but it's rather small. And then you have like 4 or 5 of those.
Yeah.
And it's like, explore this one for a while until you're sort of out of resources. Go back, check in, get all your money, get your rewards or whatever. Do a couple side quests, then go back out into the field. And the game is... combat is roughly the same as far as I could tell. I'm pretty sure Pokemon abilities are no longer present. But other than that, combat is basically the same. What's different is catching Pokemon, because you just walk up to a Pokemon and throw it like Ash does and catch it right there.
Like Pokemon Go?
Except you're playing a
person.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You have like a...
Oh, Fire Striker's got some things to say in chat.
I have Arceus. I still haven't played it. 3 Pokemon games would have been too much. If I can... Oh, and that's too old. Yeah, I won't just to quell any, I won't be spoiling anything of this game, past the first like hour or 2 or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, you walk around, and
this is how it ends.
If you see a Pokemon, you just throw a ball and catch it, and if it works, congratulations. If it doesn't work,
can you then battle the Pokemon?
Yes,
oh,
yeah.
Okay, that's
some
cool.
of the Pokemon literally, unless you fucking sneak up on them like it's Assassin's Creed, you have to battle them in order to catch them.
Okay.
And from there, catching them is like completely normal. Like, get their health low, throw a ball. So what's interesting about it is the Pokedex is completely different.
Sorry, Pokemon Scarlet is really glitchy, but really fub.
That's what everyone's been saying about it. I think it got Mason's Game of the Year, and in his discussion of it, he was like, "I know it's glitchy, but..."
Yeah, no, I was hearing him speak about it makes me really excited for that game. I'll explain why I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
Once it's my turn.
Yeah, totally. So the Pokedex is different. In every other Pokemon game, you look at the Pokemon, and that's all you can do in the Pokedex. And then eventually you catch the Pokemon, and then you have their entire entry. You can look at everything about them, right? Yeah. That's not the case in this game.
Okay.
If you see it, nothing happens. If you catch it once, you get like a black and white version of them, and you get basically no info. Each Pokemon has a little like missions board, and it's straight up like if you catch 1 Starly, you'll get a point. If you catch 3 Starly, you'll get a point. If you catch 5 Starly, you'll get another point. Stuff like that. If you defeat 5 Starly, you'll get a point. And there's a ton of them, and your goal is to get each Pokedex entry to rank 10, but you don't have to complete every single mission to do that.
Okay.
So even though you're looking at all these Starly objectives that you have to complete, and it looks like it's going to take forever, that's because it is going to take forever, but you don't have to do them all to get level 10.
Okay.
Level 10 is actually quite easy to achieve. So this game starts, and they're basically like, catch them all. That's your goal. And I was
Gotta catch them all.
But that's never like, right? That's the slogan, of course, but that's never the goal. The goal in Pokemon is always like, catch them all if you want, but there's a story to... Yeah.
Make a good team and...
Yeah. You have to actually go play Pokemon. But in this one, it was like, you're your job is to catch them all. Then you'll beat the game. And I was like, oh shit, okay, all right, I can do that. And it's been cool. I haven't been spoiled on most of the different forms. There's like, Alolan Pokemon in this.
V cards and GXs and whatnot. Yeah.
No. When they have different forms.
Yeah, no,
like
I
how
know what you're talking about.
There's some of those. And I've been largely not spoiled on most of them. I just ran into one of my favorite Pokemon, and they had a new form,
awesome.
And I didn't know about it.
Is it Gardevoir?
It's not Gardevoir, no.
Okay.
But I don't want to spoil who it is because it's like a big story moment.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, it was really cool. But yeah, there's like, hold on, what's happening? Hold on, sorry. Okay, whatever, I don't care. Yeah, there's like
people giving us shit for posting about how we're talking video games.
No, my text message is like errored, but it seems fine.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really different, and I like it a lot. It's also this is not a secret either. This game takes place in the past, like the ancient past.
Oh, okay.
So it's the Hisuian region, but the more of the map you uncover, you realize you're in Sinnoh.
Oh,
like
wow.
I found Lake Valor straight up the other day, which was pretty cool. And most of the characters that you would like recognize from Diamond and Pearl have like ancient ancestor
that's cool.
counterparts.
Yeah.
It's really neat what they're doing. So for example, like Gardenia, the grass gym leader in Diamond and Pearl, she's not in this game. She doesn't really have a real life parallel, but there is a farmer, and the way the farmer works is like, if you need apricorns, I'll farm them. I'll plant them for you. Just give me $500, and then come back in 2 days or whatever, and I'll have a full crop for you. His hairstyle is Gardenia's hairstyle.
Oh, that's
because
cool.
he's like it's just small things like that. Mason says, I also love that the way you evolve some of the new Pokemon is very old school RPG-ish. You have to give them certain items and being in a certain place when the sun goes down or some stuff like that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's another interesting thing about this. When your Pokemon is ready to evolve, it won't. You have to like go to a separate menu and be like, yes, you can evolve.
Oh, interesting.
Which I kind of like, because that gets rid of the Everstone, the need for it.
You can kind of do that in Shining Diamond and Pearl. If they start to evolve, you click A or something.
Yeah.
Like, whoops.
No, that's how it's always been. But like this takes away the need for that. So if you like have a Pokemon that's gonna learn a move as like Bulbasaur, but it won't learn it as Ivysaur, you don't have to bother with that. You just wait.
That's cool.
You don't have to press the evolve button ever. Which is really neat. I'm having a lot of fun with it. And that's what I've been doing. This game is one of many that I just got. So I think probably next week I'll probably have a different game to talk about.
Sure.
And God of War Ragnarok is really good. Oh, I did want to talk real quick without spoiling anything. Obviously, the game's called God of War Ragnarok. Ragnarok was going to happen at some point in the game.
Yeah.
Or else I'll get my money back. The Ragnarok sequence of God of War Ragnarok was the coolest ever. My mom said it was the greatest battle from any video game she's ever seen.
Jeez.
It was so cool. There was a lot of I was hanging out with Jen yesterday, and she asked me how accurate it was to like real Ragnarok from Norse mythology, and it really isn't at all. It's wildly different, which is fine. And there's a lot of cool moments of like, oh, it's that character. Oh, now it's this. Oh, look over there. But there's one thing, and I'm not going to spoil what it is, but there's one thing that happens in Ragnarok. There's a throwaway line in the first God of War game, right at the beginning of it, where somebody is like, what about this? And then someone else explains like, oh, well, this is going to happen. And then all the way at the end of God of War Ragnarok, it's happening, but it's not the main part of the fight. It's happening like in the distance. And I noticed it happening, and I was like, is that thing they talked about all the way in the beginning of the first game about to happen? and then it just does, and they don't make a big deal about it. It just like happens, and like no one reacts except me. I'm like, oh, it just happened. It's happening. The thing they talked about. It was really cool.
That sounds really cool. Is that like, have you seen people talking about whatever you're talking about?
No, but afterwards, like a few hours afterwards, in game, one of the people was like, "Hey, what about that?" Right? And the other person, who was the person who originally like told the story from the first game, basically told it again, reminding the audience, like, "Yes, that is what you saw."
Interesting.
But
That's
in the
cool.
moment, like, because Ragnarok's happening,
Yeah,
and if that as monumental of a thing happening in the background as that is, it's happening in the background. I'm playing as Kratos from God of War. You know, I have things I'm doing. I can't focus on that. Except I'll focus the camera on that because I want to see it.
right.
But like the fact that just happened, we don't have time to be like, whoa, look at that. That's crazy that's happening. We gotta go stop Ragnarok, you know, or finish Ragnarok or whatever. So it was just cool. I liked how nonchalant it was, but I also liked that like, yes, eagle-eyed viewer, that is what happened, and you did remember the thing correctly. So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Because it also, this big thing that I'm referring to that I'm trying not to spoil, it's not a Norse mythology thing. It's like a God of War thing.
Oh, okay.
Like this was God of War's explanation of X from Norse mythology, and I was like, that's pretty interesting. And then you just see it in Ragnarok. I don't know. It was really cool. It was a really cool game. It was a lot of fun too. 100%. There was, I think, Sony or PlayStation or whoever's in charge of this part of it. I think they're requesting this of their games, but there was a section of this game that was completely open world. It was just like one half of one level that was just like a mini open world area that took like a full 9 hours to beat. And it was like, well, now you're doing this. There's 6 dragons. Go find them. And it was just like a completely separate, completely optional level that was completely open world. And I'm wondering if like that's a thing that they're telling them to do, because Kingdom Hearts 3 did that. And the new Ratchet & Clank did that. There was a level that was just like completely open world. And in the case of Kingdom Hearts 3 and Ratchet & Clank, you do have to go there as part of the main story, but you don't have to spend that much time there. And then you can spend an optional like 6-7 hours there if you want, doing the open worldness of the level. But this one was completely optional. Like, I heard that people had been literally missing it because there's just like this animal that's like, well, someone's like, "Ooh, we should follow that animal," and if you don't follow it, you forget about it, you know, you won't be taken to this like weird optional open world level. And it was honestly really fun. I don't know if that was their way of being like, audience, would you enjoy a open world God of War game like this? And my answer is yes. I really liked it, but I don't know if it can't be a coincidence, right, that all these first party Sony AAA games have a level that is just conspicuously like its own mini open world level with its own mechanics. It's just interesting.
I don't know. We'll find out next God of War,
I guess, yeah. Which, if they're going on this the track record they've been going for, we'll probably start hearing about as soon as 2024.
Cool.
But yes, how was your week or 2 weeks in video games?
Very involved because I fucked up my back.
Oh yes, that's right. What else are you gonna do other than
paint minis and
play with
video
Mario
games.
and Link and all our good virtual friends?
So, man, do I have a few things to say. Let me start with...
Go off, because there is no news, literally.
Yeah, so let me start with, I was in the ER a few days ago, and Pauline sends me a text, and it's like, hey, because she had to go home to sleep because she had work that night. And she was like, hey, we got some packages, and she sent me a picture of one. She said, this is from Chelsea and Mason, a.k.a. Drizzle and Tsunami, on this channel. And it was a fucking Nintendo Switch. And it said, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, and probably next Christmas, which is totally fair. Thank you guys so much for the Switch. That has already made gaming for us so much better. So since we had her Switch as our initial Switch, this Switch has now become my Switch. And I have 2 video games on that Switch right now. Those are Pokemon Pearl, Shining Pearl, and Mario Kart.
Yes. Were you able to move your save file from
Yeah.
Pearl? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Neat.
Which I would have had a hard time dealing with if I couldn't, because I've put just a horrendous amount of time into that video game. Speaking of which, the reason I haven't started the newest Pokemon game is because I want to catch all the legendaries and finish off the 4.
The Elite Four?
Yeah, the Elite Four.
Yeah, you were telling me you have to do them over and over again.
You don't have to. They change though. I want to get to the final variation of the Elite Four.
And I was telling you this. I think it might have even been off stream, but I've said this before, even about the old Gen 4 games. Like collecting all the legendaries is the most fun in this game. I don't know if
you think so. It's becoming tedious for me. There's just too many.
There's a lot of them,
and they're super hard.
Here's the thing: I don't know how many they added from the original.
True. There's a lot. What I'm super excited for, if this works the way I think it's gonna work, is Pokemon Home, which we already have. Do you know what Pokemon Home is?
Yeah.
You can store your Pokemon there.
Yeah, and then you can take them into other games rather than trading. Yeah.
I'm so excited to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have my Charizard, my Gengar.
Yeah.
In whatever games I want going forward. I know this is my first Pokemon game, but I feel like that's got to be revelating for some people. Because, you don't have to start from the bottom. You can keep the Pokemon that you like.
I believe, and I could be wrong, because there could be, server issues. It's been a while, but I'm pretty sure that if you wanted to, you could still have Pokemon from your childhood. I think as far back as Game Boy Advanced. It's really difficult to do because back then, so you catch a Pokemon in Emerald. In order to trade it to Diamond, you have to have a DS with both slots, so you can put the Game Boy in the bottom and the DS card in the top, and then you send it, but you don't get it right away. You have to go to a special park where you have to catch your old Pokemon with no way to fail, obviously.
Sure.
And then there's a similar process. You can't just trade from 4 to 5. But then once you get to 6, that's a 3DS game. So Pokemon Home is a thing. And I think from
so this
6,
Pokemon Home super old. See, I'm just getting into Pokemon, so I don't know all this.
Yeah. I think Pokemon Home, maybe it wasn't called that, but they definitely had outside of the game box where you could move stuff around. And I can only I think that 6 is the easiest to get from, and if you wanted a Pokemon from the Game Boy Advance, you could do it, but maybe it's not as easy. And like I said, I don't know if maybe the DS communications have been shut down since then. I don't know about all of that. But last I heard, I think it's still technically possible.
That's insane. But my point being, here's my hope for Pokemon, the newcomer that I am. It would be really cool if you could just have a player ID and you can make your own, customize your own character the way you want. And then each Pokemon game that comes out, you just have the option of typing in your ID number and that is you in this game.
That'd be cool. I'm curious cuz in the past they've put limits on it where it's you mentioned Charizard, and I'm sure Charizard will make it because he's pretty popular. But, let's just use him as an example. There'd be a situation where it's Charizard was in Black 2, but he's not in X, so therefore you cannot trade him. And I'm wondering if I can only imagine this, the newest, beefiest, like now it's an open world game, Pokemon game. You can just get any Pokemon, I can imagine. Assuming, especially because they've been making rapid fire Pokemon games. They've never made them this fast.
Yeah, you think they've just got all the what's it called?
Like all the limiters off?
Well, yeah, you think that they've got versions of each character, whether they're in the game or not. They've just got them ready to go for that game.
For specifically for this one, I feel like they definitely. I don't know this. I could be wrong, but I would be surprised if it wasn't like, oh yeah, you could just have fucking whatever Pokemon in whatever form. Just bring it on over, man.
That'd be cool. I'm really excited for that
because that was a big, like frequently reoccurring letdown of like, ooh, the new Alpha Sapphire Omega Ruby is out. I can't wait to bring my shiny Gardevoir from Black. Oh, it's not in the. I can't. Well, bummer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm ready to bring my Gengar over.
Yeah. No. See, that's why I'm not concerned for you, because this is not meant as an insult, but you like the popular Pokemon.
Yeah.
You like the Pokemon everyone else likes. So I can only assume that Gengar and Alakazam and Charizard and all them are going to be able to be brought over. If there even is a limiter, which I have a theory that there is not anymore.
That's happening in March, I think. We're it's going to be compatible to Pokemon Home, these games. They're not compatible yet.
Oh,
I think
really?
they're going to be compatible. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's a sign that a big
update
is coming. Fix all the bugs people are complaining about.
That'd be cool.
A little fucking late, but it's Pokemon, so it's to be expected.
So that's explaining all the stuff I haven't played yet. So I've been playing 2 games. One of them is Elden Ring. And the other one, very similar, is Mario Kart.
Okay, so I'm sure you want to talk about Elden Ring more than Mario Kart because Mario Kart's old. But
I've got a few things to say about each.
Okay, I do have a question though. You have you dipped into the new? There's definitely limits on what Pokemon.
Oh no!
Oh damn. Okay, well we'll see when we get there. Have you tried the new DLC?
Yeah.
Oh okay.
For
cool.
Pokemon?
No.
Mario
Kart.
Mario Kart. Yeah. It's not completely out yet.
No. But the newest 4 is the best one, I think. I really lucked out with the newest 4. 2 of my favorite tracks of all time, Maple Treeway and Peach Garden.
Oh, cool.
Are in the game. I never thought we'd get another rendition of Peach Garden. And back on the DS, the only other time they did Peach Garden, the fact that you go backwards through the track, not a thing.
Having you mention that that's not a new track, that's from the DS, that was my immediate thought, was I wonder if you go backwards in that version.
And I thought it was really cool because the Wii, I don't know if you remember Mario Kart Wii, but they had that there's side rails and you can do tricks off of them and then go back down.
That was neat.
There's one of those on Maple Treeway, and then I noticed that in the new stage, because of the 8 stages, there's always a brand new one that they make for Mario Kart 8. They put one of those things, and I was like, "You fucking you assumed that I didn't play the Wii version because I'm a little kid, and you showed me how to do it on Maple Treeway so that when I got here, I don't know, it was really cool."
I wasn't able to bring over my Mario Kart save file because that's on my other Switch.
Oh, right.
But my parents, my family Switch,
yeah.
Which I'm not that heartbroken about because I was like, well, then I'll just 100% Mario Kart again. And can I tell you, Anthony?
Yeah.
I've beaten everything, including the DLC on 50, and I'm halfway through 100. I haven't come in second once.
Oh, well, that's because 50 and 100 are super easy.
I know, but you'd think that by accident.
You don't have to do those, right?
I know. I want to. I'm prepping myself because after this, I'm gonna try competitively online.
Okay. After you 100%.
Yeah. Once I've done everything, so I'm building myself up to it. I'm going on a Mario Kart journey right now.
Yeah, totally. No, I like that.
Which is funny because I was giving it shit for new levels, and we still haven't got 9, which I still feel that way. But
no, that's the thing, right? Like, and I feel like you and I expressed this when we complained about this last time. Like, I love Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah.
And I would love to play it forever, but if
Nintendo would love you to, too.
If Nintendo sat me down and was like, would you like 16 more tracks in 8, or would you like us to make 9? I'd be like, please make 9.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God.
No,
I love 8. Please make 9.
I was thinking about it. While I was playing it. There's a whole generation that didn't get a Mario Kart. There's a decade. Yeah, there's a decade that just did not see a new Mario Kart.
Yeah.
That's pathetic.
That's why you and I were like, they got to do 9 soon, cuz they keep pretending that Mario Kart 8 is the Switch one. It's not. It was a Wii U game.
Yeah.
It came out in 2014.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. This is the longest.
That's why I'm saying we're coming up on a decade.
Not counting the phone game or the little rate.
No, that's bullshit. No. Fuck that. That's not Mario Kart 9.
There hasn't been a new Mario Kart in 8 years. That's got to be the biggest gap.
We're coming up on 9.
Yeah, that's got to be the biggest gap, right?
Yep. We should do one of those, once we do make the Thunder and Lightning Instagram, we should just do like a post a day. We're not going to stop till Mario Kart 9 comes out.
Oh, dude, you should have seen the absolute, like, social media platform-wide pop-off that the blank days until Stone Ocean anime happened when they announced that.
Oh, but anyways, that's Mario Kart. Elden Ring.
Yes.
Yes. I'm 20 hours in.
Okay.
It's really hard, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Here's my issue. There's like a million things that my character can do. I do not know them all. And the game goes out of its way not to give me that much information on how to do any of it.
Yeah, so I was going to ask, like, what is your build right now? Like, what weapon are you using? Are you using magic?
I'm using 2 straight swords. They're piercing damage, I think they are.
Oh, okay.
So I'm dual wielding, which I had to find out on my own how to do. Because I had 2 different swords.
Right.
It will not let you use 2 different swords. So I gave up. And then I was talking to my brother-in-law, who's beaten the game a few times. And I was like, I have 2 swords. It's not working. Because he told me that he's dual wielding. And he was like, are they the same type of sword? And I was like, I don't fucking know. And then he showed me his. And I was like, oh, I get it. Just to not fuck myself up, I have 2 of the same sword. I'm just going to use those.
Yeah.
And it's working.
I think that... Have you found any katanas yet?
No.
I think that... So there's quite a few katanas. There's probably like 11 in the game, which is not much compared to like how many like broadswords there are in the game, you know? I think you'd really like katanas.
Okay.
I literally played Astrologer, which is like sorcery magic.
Yeah.
I completely redid my like whole stats halfway through the game so I could do katanas. Because that's what I did towards the like back half of the game. For most of the game, I just dual wielded katanas. Because I think you probably learned. Sounds like you picked up on what I picked up on, which rolling is pretty good in Elden Ring. It seems like the best defense is double offense.
Yes.
Rather than.
Well, I've got, and this has been working really well for me. I'm starting to like make things happen. I use the storm something when the like hurricane forms around you and the enemies like get stunned.
Okay. I don't even think I'm familiar with that.
It's L2.
It's a weapon art or whatever they're called, right?
I guess
like a weapon skill.
I guess so. They come in to proximity. I use that. They get stunned, and I just dual wield them a bit.
Yeah.
And then I back off. They get pissed. They storm at me again. I do it again. And like obviously the rhythm breaks sometimes, and like they'll get in or
gotta
stuff
improvise.
Like that. But that's been working out pretty well for me. I've beaten a lot of bosses, a lot more than I thought I was going to at this stage in the game.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, where are you at progression wise?
So that's hard for me to understand because it's open world. I've been like inching my way in all different directions.
Yeah.
I am at Stormvale or whatever, the
big castle on the left.
Yeah.
I
am there. I've beaten Margit or whatever.
The guy who greets you at the door.
Yes.
Yeah.
I beat him. I've gone
That guy's
through.
a pushover. Guy's an asshole.
Yes, he is. I've gotten to the point. So I don't know how much of this game you remember, but there's a grace spot, and you walk outside, and there's birds with like TNT shit on their.
Oh my god.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, of course I do. The worst enemies in the game, because sometimes because those birds you're talking about, they don't come with that TNT. They have like sword feet.
Yeah.
But they stick their feet in the TNT. They drop it on you like fucking pieces of shit. I hate that part of the game.
So
I know exactly what like ledge you're like
yeah.
like
and then you go into the church.
What is that called? That part of a castle. What is that called?
The wall. I know what you're talking
about. The turret.
Yeah.
I know exactly the turret you're talking about.
And then you get past them. You go into the church, and there's another tarnished there. That's the next thing that happens. I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
So you know what I found out about those cute little birds?
Yeah.
You can just run past them.
Oh yeah. That's the big secret about Dark Souls games. You can just run through the whole game and not fight basically anybody.
I'm starting to realize that because I was stopping and fighting everything that came my way.
Respectable for sure, but Elden Ring is a huge game.
Yeah, well, so I just got so fucking fed up with these birds, and I've lost so many runes at this point where I was like, I'm just gonna fucking run. Let's see what they do. I'm just gonna run. And then, because the only reason I decided that's a good idea is because I was like, they're not coming through that fucking window. I know they're not.
Right.
It's too small. They're not getting in. So I did that, and this game likes to do this shit where you think you're safe, but they'll fucking come after you anyways. So I did all that. I got to a certain point. Like, there's this giant knight. I fought him. There's a second one that I also realized I can just fuck off and not bother him.
Yeah.
There's this demented thing that's got a shield, and it's got, like, a bunch of arms. It's like a glob.
Okay.
I've yet to fight him because I don't need to.
Trying to remember all the...
I know.
Yeah.
But I've gotten past him, and I'm out of keystones or whatever. I can't access the next part of the map. And on the other hand, there's another door, and there's a bunch of guards with, like, crossbows waiting for me to come out.
A bunch of, like, if there was only one of them, no problem.
Right.
But there's, like,
30
of them.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
I assume that's the game's way of being like, don't come out this way. This is the wrong way. I'm not going to be able to fight all of them at once.
Well, yeah, I think that's more so the game's way of saying, like, you could fucking fight your way through all these things, but there's an easier way to get to the Stormveil boss.
Stormveil isn't supposed to be the end of the game, right?
No,
okay.
That's the beginning of the game.
Okay, good.
The boss, like final boss of Stormveil, is the first boss, boss of the game.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's good because I was worried I had stumbled upon the end of. You know how?
No,
you
stumbled upon the end of World 1.
Good.
Out of 7 or 8, two of which being optional.
In Breath of the Wild, you can just essentially walk up to
Ganon.
I was worried that that's what I was doing.
No, you definitely can't stumble upon the final boss in Elden Ring.
Okay. That's good to know.
But you can definitely stumble upon enemies that are way too fucking hard, and you're like, okay, I won't go that way. That's fine. I totally cheesed Margit with a Scarlet Rot summon. I was still really bad at the game den. Yeah, I think we all cheese Margit a little bit. What I did was I summoned 2 in-game helpers and a real person helper.
Oh shit!
And I summoned a bunch of wolves.
I
think I
summoned a bunch of wolves.
I think I took maybe 3 actual hits on Margit.
I summoned 3 actual wolves, and I had what's his name, like Roget or something like that.
Yes, yeah. With the hat.
Yeah,
that's the dude for that fight.
Every time he died, I was like, man, I really wanted you to make it. I really thought we could do it together.
Yeah, I always have. So I didn't follow this rule in Elden Ring because the game's huge. And some of it's literally open world.
I did beat a dragon.
Oh, the one on the lake. The
swamp.
That one's cool.
Yeah. I also sicked my wolves on him. I love the wolves.
Yeah, they're great. There are a couple summons that are way better than the wolves, but
Okay.
the wolves were like always in my kit. I
Yeah.
always kept the wolves just in case. But so I didn't follow this rule when I played Elden Ring, but with Dark Souls proper games, my rule is always fight every enemy once. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So if I go through an area, kill everything, and then I'm like 2 enemies away from the bonfire, and then I die, I'm just going to take the easiest route to that dude, fight that dude, and then fight the next dude, and then sit at the bonfire. I just have to be the one that killed every enemy once.
Okay.
That's my whole thing. I think that's a
Fair.
That's a Gerard thing, the completionist. That was his thing, and I was like, that's a neat rule, because if you don't have, there's nothing telling you not to just go, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this is not why I do it, but I feel like when you do it that way, assuming you're not dying all the time, you will probably have enough souls by the time you get to the first like boss milestone that you'll be an okay level for it if you kill every enemy once.
That's what I'm worried about, especially in Stormvale, is I'm just never going to get the option to level up. I'm level 33 right now.
Okay.
Which I feel like isn't bad.
No, that's not bad at all for Stormvale. That's pretty good.
Yeah, but it's a risk. It's a risk.
Just to put into perspective for you, I believe, I could be totally wrong, but this number is in my head. I think by the end of the game, I was level 280.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'm having fun. It's definitely the toughest video game I've ever played.
Question, have you gone back and fought the first dude, the knight?
Yeah.
Yeah? You took him out?
I fucked him up.
Nice, dude.
It took me forever, but I got him.
It feels good, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, and now he's gone forever. He's dead. I killed him.
Yeah, that's the other thing that was a big question mark in my mind.
Do they come back?
Because
everybody else comes back.
Because in every other Dark Souls game, it's like, oh, there's a fog door. Walk up to it slowly. Go through it. Oh, it's a boss. This is the boss. But in this game, a fucking boss will just be like, hey, man, sup? Were you picking flowers or some shit? You're fighting a dragon now, asshole. And I was like, is this guy going to come back?
Right.
But they
it seems like everything that gets
don't.
its own
life bar
yeah dies for good.
Yeah.
Because I also had that thought. You know what should die forever? Trolls.
Trolls? What do you mean trolls?
The trolls. They got the sword, they're big guys, they got like their intestines falling out.
Those things are cool. I like those things.
No,
have you cool. Have you found
the
Troll,
stone one?
Troll Mountain?
No.
There's basically just a windy mountaintop with like 9 or 10 of them.
Good.
They're not like, they're separated. You can take them on one by one, but like there's a lot of them.
I found like gem troll or whatever. There's a mine with guys made out of gems and they're scary.
Oh yeah.
And then there's a gem troll.
I think the mines are probably my least favorite setting in Elden Ring. There's a little too many of them, and they get a little mazy.
Yeah.
And it gets difficult because sometimes you'll get to the end of a random mine, and it'll be a super hard boss. You'll get stuck. You're like, okay, well, I'll come back later, and then you're like, which mine was that? How do I get there?
Right.
I
just went through one. Super short, scary. Because I get in there, and I just fought a boss, and I was like, all right, I'm going to try this. If it's tough, whatever, I'll try to die in a convenient location. And I get down there, and it's just a room of turtles.
Oh, yeah.
The whole room is turtles, and I was like, the fuck is this? I didn't touch any of them, because I was like, they're not bothering me.
Oh, did you just walk right by them?
I just walked past them.
Yep.
And I opened the door, and it was like, you got the turtle.
Yeah, dude. I fucking love that one. There is, I think I might have gone through the same thing as you. Maybe I didn't just fight a boss, but I was like low on health. I was like, I just found this thing. I'm fucking far away from it. I'm just going to go down there. And you just like, you put your hand on your sword, and you're like, what are we doing, guys?
Yeah.
Are we good? I'm gonna take my hand off.
There's the saddest thing. Me and Pauline noticed it together, and I haven't bothered these guys since. But there's a group of like 3 zombies, and one's got got a torch.
Yeah.
And if you take out the one with the torch, the other two just kind of cower.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, all right.
Yeah.
I don't need your fucking 60 runes that bad.
They love doing shit like that. In Dark Souls 1, one of the most famous bosses from that game is a giant wolf called Sif.
Okay.
And Sif has a sword in its mouth, like the dog from Pokemon. It's huge, and you're fighting it. And when you get Sif to like maybe a crazy low, like a 16th or a 32nd like amount of her health left, she stops fighting you. She just starts whimpering. And you have to take her out because she's the boss. She's one of the really important bosses.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. I don't like that.
And honestly, it's one of those things where, like, if you fuck her up quick enough, you might not even notice.
Sure.
But if you're struggling and you're, like, respecting her, you're backing up, like, eventually she just stops fighting you, and you're like, fuck!
I'm gonna look that up. That's really upsetting. We talked a lot about our weeks today, mainly because there isn't any.
There's no news for video games at the beginning of the year.
Pauline, who's very afraid of Elden Ring right now, she's having a hard time, but she's muscling her way through it. Has to say, Dark Souls / Bloodborne makers are sick.
I'm curious how you mean. I don't disagree, of course, but I'm just curious how you mean, like with their enemy, with their concepts, or with their like game design. Like you look at the things in these games and you're like, oh, gross, or like you just don't love the sadistic
probably
level
both
design.
Probably, if I was to guess what she has to say, probably both. I think that's gonna do it.
Yeah, I think that's gonna do it too. I did have, I think it was all for the next. Yeah, everything I had was for the next podcast.
Okay.
So that's it. And I don't want to kill a whimpering dog. No, neither do I. Oh, everything is just scary looking. Yeah. Yeah, dude. If you don't like eldritch horror, like Cthulhu type stuff, dripping black goo from, don't play Bloodborne because that's all what that is. But people thought Bloodborne was going to be like a hunt vampires, werewolves games, and you like fight like what's this one called? Oh, the devil incarnate with sin in its feet. Oh, great, cool, awesome, great, can't wait. There's one thing in Bloodborne called the One Reborn, and you enter this battlefield and there's nobody there, and then a portal opens up to space, I guess, and then like just like this like weird zombie dude flops out and he's like, hey, and then the rest of him flops out. He's just like a mass of like limbs. He's like real gross and a really hard fight. That's not the One Reborn. The One Reborn is the, I don't know, who cares? Nobody cares. One of the bosses is like that in Bloodborne. Bloodborne's my favorite video game of all time.
I know.
And it's one of my 18 platinum games because I just went over my platinum games the other day. And I know 18 sounds like a lot. Some of them are super easy. There's no reason that everyone can't platinum Astro's Playroom who has a PS5 because it's completely free and it takes like an hour. But that's going to do it for gaming news. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe.
Our channel has daily uploads from podcast video essays, Let's Plays to skits.
Be sure to watch on Twitch. We stream all our video game and podcast content live at 5 EST every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Our intro is by Brad Kendrick and music by Froggy and the Friendship. Link to all that in the description below.
Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.